All right, welcome to DellyMaths Concepts. What I'm looking at today is some more solutions for January CSEC mathematics paper 2025. All right, so let us go. We're looking at this question at question 3. It says the diagram below shows a regular hexagon. This is a very key word right here. LMNOPQ whose side is 8 centimeters long. All right, so we're told that the side is 8 centimeters long. So the question says here, show that the value of angle PQL is 120 degrees. PQL, I'm going to mark that angle. PQL is this angle here. Now, the key thing for this question is the fact that we were told that it's a regular hexagon. This is very crucial. Now, any polygon that is regular means that all the sides are congruent, meaning they are the same length, which means all the angles are also equal. So we have 6 equal angles here, 6 equal sides. So the bottom line is what we want to do is we want to be able to know the total angles for this, and then we divide it up into 6 pieces. So there are 2 ways you could go about this. The general formula suggests that 180 times n minus 2 can give us the total interior angle for any polygon. N refers to the number of sides. For example, it's going to be 180, and then you will have 6 minus 2. So it's 180 times 4, right? So 180 times 4, that looks like about 720. So 20. What this is referring to is the total interior angle, all right, for this. It's the total interior angle for this polygon that we have. Now, because it has 6 angles and the regular means that they're all equal, so we could now prove that this angle PQL is to take the total angle and divide it into 6 equal pieces. And it's going to be proven that it's 120 degrees. All right. So that's how we deal with that. Now, another way that you could have known the total interior angle if you do not know this general formula here is that you could stand at any one point. So let us say I stand at the point Q, and I'm going to try to create as many triangles as I can from this point. Take a look. I will get one triangle there, one more triangle here, and 2 more here. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So I'm getting 4 triangles that are actually adjacent to each other. That means since one triangle will have a total of 180 degrees as an interior angle, then if you multiply that by 4, that's how you would have got the total interior angle for this shape. So that's where the formula was actually developed from, okay? So you could have found the total interior angle whichever way you want, but definitely you're gonna have to divide it into 6 to get that 120. All right. Now let's move on to the other part of the question. So the next part here says that, hey, the vertices of a rectangle WXYZ touch PQ, QL, MN, and NO of the hexagon in part. So we still have the same hexagon, and then you have a rectangle inside, as you could see. We are told that ZL, ZY, and WX are parallel to LM and PO. All right, so everything is there. Here is our parallelism going on here. All these lines are parallel, which means that I could cruise through. Whenever we have parallel lines, we can get away with a lot of stuff. It says calculate the value of the angle LWX. Let me mark that angle. L to W to X is this angle. So I'm going to mark it quickly this angle is right here. Bear in mind that we already know that these angles at the vertices are actually 120 degrees. Now, take a look at this. Remember, though, that we were just told that these lines are parallel. So this line is parallel to this line, and then it was cut by a transversal right here. This is a transversal. So let me show you the idea. If I have two parallel lines like this and it's cut by a transversal, if these lines are parallel, then there is a special relationship with this angle and this angle. They are called co-interior angle or consecutive interior angle. They are supplementary. They add to give 180 degrees. What that means? If this angle is A and this angle is B, then angle A plus angle B will give 180 degrees. I can use this idea to know the value of the angle that I'm being asked to find right here. It's going to be 180 degrees minus 120. So let us put it right here. Right here, it's going to be 180 minus 120, and we're going to get 60 degrees very quick and easily by using what we call co-interior angles there because we had two parallel lines and a transversal there. Let's move on to this other question. So we're looking at question 4, and in question 4, we have a line segment that joins CD. C is -5, 6, and D is 7, 2. Now, what the question is asking us to do here is that it is saying to us, hey, calculate the midpoint of the line segment CD. Now, there's a formula for midpoint. I'm going to just drop it here. The midpoint formula, right, says that x1 plus x2 divided by 2, then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. This will give us our coordinate. So what we're going to do is to quickly label the idea. For example, this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. We're going to substitute that in the formula to get that midpoint. So x1, -5 plus x2, 7 over 2. Then y1 is 6 plus y2 is 2 over 2. Then let's go again. -5 plus 7 is going to give me 2 over 2. 6 plus 2, that's going to give me 8 over 2. My final midpoint is 1, 4. So this is my midpoint, and this is my x value, and that's my y value right there. So the midpoint is actually 1, 4. So we call it those mark. All right. So now let's look at the other question. The other question says, find the gradient of the line. So if we're going to find the gradient of the line, we need to have back our points here. We want to look back at them. We had a -5, a 6, and a 7, 2, right? So let's label. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So I just brought back the points here. Remember, though, that gradient can be found. We can calculate gradient by using this formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The idea for gradient is simply rise over run, changing y divided by changing x. So it's going to actually be 2 minus 6 over 7 minus -5. So here we'll have -4 over this part. Remember when we're doing this part actually becomes a plus. So it becomes 12. Now we can break this down. 4 into itself is 1. 4 into 12 is 3. So then my slope is actually -1/3. third. So there it is. That's my gradient, negative 1/3. All right, so let's keep going. Now, the other part of the question says, determine the equation of a perpendicular bisector. In other words, perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular is at 90 degrees. Bisector means cut in half. Now, remember we found the midpoint. So here it is that we have a line, let us say, so let us look on what's going on. We have a line that is CD. We know the middle of the line. I think the middle of the line was 1, 4. I'll just quickly scroll back. So it's 1, 4. So the coordinate for the middle of the line was actually 1, 4. Okay. A perpendicular bisector is going to be a line that passes through the center at 90 degrees. So we do have the center point, which means there is a point that this line passes through. So it's 1, 4. We have that point. And then there is a relationship shared between lines that are perpendicular. So one gradient is a negative reciprocal of the other gradient. So let us take a look at this. Remember, for CD, the gradient that we got for CD was actually negative 1/3. When lines are actually perpendicular, so their gradient is the negative reciprocal. So for this new line, so it says determine the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So I'm just going to say perpendicular bisector's gradient. So the gradient of this line is going to equal to 3/1, and it's going to be positive. So you flip it upside down and change the sign. So definitely this is just basically 3. So I have the slope for this line, and then I have a point that it passes through. So the point that it passes through would have been the midpoint because that's where we get the bisector from. So here is the deal. That's X and this is Y. So of course, I am able to write an equation of this perpendicular bisector line. I could write it in more than one form. So I'm just going to write it in slope-intersect form, which is the regular. Y is equal to mx plus c. So I'm going to substitute y, x, and m, find my y-intercept, and then rewrite this. Let's get it. 4. So I'm going to substitute this point here along with this slope here in this to work it out. So 4 is equal to m is for the slope 3, x is 1 plus c. So basically, I have 4, which is equal to 3 plus c. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 1 is equal to c. Now I have my c value. C is 1. So because I have c and I have my slope, I could now write the equation. So this is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. It's going to equal to y is equal to m, which is 3, x plus 1. So that's the equation of the perpendicular bisector to the line CD. All right. All right, let's move on to another question. So the other question says here, another line AB is parallel to CD and passes through 0, 1. Write down the equation of AB. Now remember, we actually have CD, right? Like that. Now we know this the gradient of CD. So we have CD, we have the gradient of CD. This is equal to negative 1/3. Now the thing is when lines are actually parallel to each other, they share the same gradient. So AB, so I'm going to say AB's gradient is equal to negative 1/3 because parallel lines do share the same gradient. The point that we got that it passes through is 0, 1. This is X and this is Y. This might just be a 2 marks question because I'm not going to work out the C, because if I have a 0 as a coordinate, then I actually have the y-intercept. So right here, I have my y-intercept at 1, right? So then I could easily just write this because I do have the slope and I have the y-intercept. So for this, the equation of AB is actually y equal to -1/3 x plus 1. Here it is, right? So that's the equation. And remember, we knew the slope or the gradient because parallel lines share the same gradient. So CD's gradient was -1/3. So AB gradient will be -1/3. This is a giveaway here because since the x coordinate is 0, it means that number 1 is actually on the y-axis, and that's the y-intercept. So we could have written it in um, slope and intercept form. So we're good right there. Let's go to the other question, number 5. Number 5 is actually statistics question. So it says the table below shows marks out of 10 that 40 students in a class gain on an essay writing test. Now we're looking at the scores. We have the marks here, and then we have the number of students. It says calculate the student's mean score. Well, remember, if we're going to find mean, there's a formula for that. And the formula says that, hey, the mean is equal to the sum, which is sigma of fx over the sum of f. So what it means, I'm going to have to create some fx column, find the sum of it, and divide it by the total, which is 40. We were told that it's 40 students. So my total frequency right here is actually 40. So I'm going to create a fx column here, and then I'm going to multiply. So like this. So here it is, fx. So 4 times 3 gives us 12. 9 times 6 gives us 54. 8 times 7 gives us 56. And this is the same here. We have 56 again. This 9 times 8, that's 72. And 10 times 5 here, this is giving us 50. So we need to summarize this. We're going to sum this up. So it's 12 plus 54 plus 56 plus 56 plus 72 plus 50. Okay, this is 300 I'm getting here. All right, very good. That's 300 there. So basically, we're just going to sub this in here. So the sum of my fx was 300, and the sum of the total frequency, which is this, is 40. So basically, we want to divide that by 40, and let's see what we have. I'm getting a score of 7.5. So this is actually our mean score here, 7.5. Okay. All right, let's move on to the other question. So the other question says determine the modal score. When we speak of mode, we're referring to the score that occurs most frequently. So we're going to go to the frequency F and look for the largest number, which is actually 9. And then we go where the score is. Be advised that this number 9 is not the answer. It's going to help us to find the answer. So it's going to be 6. That is our modal score. That 9 persons got 6. So the modal score is actually 6, all right? So we got that. Median. The median is the middle term. And well, we could find it this way. There are many ways that you can find it. I'm just going to show you a quick systematic way you could walk yourself through it all the time. We're going to locate the median and then pick it up. So we could quickly use this idea. There is an idea that you could define the position of the median. So remember, this is going to give us the position of the median, okay? Position of the median. So it's going to take the total frequency, add 1 to it, divide by 2. So this is going to be 40. So this is 40 plus 1. So 40 plus 1 divided by 2. And that's going to give you 20.5. So I'm looking for this as accumulation. I'm going to do a cumulative check up and down the table. And as soon as I hit 20.5, I'm going to stop. So let's go down the table first, right? So I'm going to add going down. So think about this. 3 plus 9, that's 12. We're not there yet. 12 plus 8, that's 20. We're still not there. The moment I add 7 to the 20, that's 27. I have to stop because I would have passed the 20.5. So I'm going to point. So it's telling me that 8 is a part of what I'm doing. But I have to do a double check. You go up the table as well. So we're going to go in the other direction. For example, going up, that's 5. 5 plus 8, that's 13. 13 plus 7, that's 20. We still have not passed or reached 20.5. So the moment I add 8 to it, I would have reached or passed. Then I'm going to point over here. All right. So what it is suggesting here is that these are the two numbers that I do need right here. So I'm going to take those two numbers, it is 7 and 8, add them, divide by 2, and it's going to help me out. So 7 plus 8, add, divide by 2. Let's deal with it right here. So it's going to be 7 plus 8, add that, divide by 2. So it's going to be 15 over 2. So my median is 7.5, right? That's the median right there. So let us keep rolling, all right? That's a 1 mark question. Now let's jump to the other question. It says, using the information in the table below, a pie chart is constructed to represent the marks students gain. All right, so we're looking at that. So it says here, calculate the angle for the sector representing the interval where x, reading here, x is greater than or equal to 5, but less than or equal to 6 in the pie chart. So basically, I'm going to take a look at this and I'm going to see what this is. It's 9. But a pie chart, the idea for this is going to be 9 out of how much. So remember, we need to know the total here. You could name 40 from the question. So how are you going to represent this? It's going to be 9 because this is 9 out of a total of 40. And because we're dealing with a pie chart, it's a circle. So you're going to have to multiply this by 360 to actually see the sector that it occupies. So you're going to work this out and then we're good. So basically, let's use our calculator to take us out. All right, so it's 9 times 360, and that result must be divided by 40, and we're going to get 81 degrees. So this is actually 81 degrees being put on a pie chart right there. And it's a 1 mark question. All right, let's jump into this last part of this. It says the diagram below shows two fair divided side P and Q. It says, all right, let me read this. It says the diagram below shows two fair-sided die, P and Q. We're looking at them. This is P and that's Q. Now, let's see the description. It says the 6 numbers on die P are 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. And then the 6 numbers on die Q are 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. All right. It says when a die is rolled, the score is the number on top. All right. So when you roll the die, this is going to be what we're reading. Just as when you're playing your regular die and you throw you want a 6, it's the number on top that we're reading. So this is regular. Now let's see what they're saying. It says here, die P is rolled once. What is the probability that the score is not 2? So you want to take a look at what die P is about. So let's take a quick look here. Die P and I'm referring to this. Here is the IP right here. There are 6 possible combinations. There is a number 2, and we don't want 2. So if you don't want 2, it's either it's going to be this or this or this or this or this. So it's going to be those, which is 5 out of the 6. So in other words, then, if it's not going to be 2, we have a chance of 5 out of 6 possible, all right, things that could occur. So they're looking for 5, 6 for that. It's a 1-mark question again. Now, for this question, it says die Q is rolled twice. All right. What is the probability that the score is both one both times? So what we're going to do here, we're going to take the probability, okay, of a 1 and 1 again. Now, whenever, here is something that you could quick learn. If it's or, we're going to actually or, meaning or we would have added the probability, right? Or you could say we add the probability. But whenever it's and, we multiply our probability. All right. So in this case, it's and, because if I'm gonna throw it one time and get number 1, and then I throw it again and get another number 1, that's and. So we want to know what's the probability, right, for me to get a number 1, and then I'm going to multiply those probabilities. So let's take a look at it. We're talking about this one now. We're talking about this right here. How many ones are there? There are 3 out of 6. So this is it. We have 3, 1 out of 6. So the probability for this, so let me just write it. The probability to get a 1 is simply 3 out of 6. And when you break this down, it's 1/2. That's just to get 1. So the question that we want to answer is we want to get a 1 and then we get a 1 again. So it's going to be a half times a half, because whenever we're dealing with and we multiply our probability, it gets harder. So this becomes 1/4, and that's what we're looking for this answer right there. Let us now step into the next question. It says a die Q is rolled 72 times. All right. So the die Q is rolled 72 times. Calculate an estimate of the number of times the score 3 could occur. Let us see how many times we have 3 in die Q. Now we have 3 just one time. So in other words, then for die Q, so the probability of getting a 3 is equal to 1 out of 6, right? Now the thing is that's just for a 1 throw. That's 1. But if I'm going to do it 72 times, then I'm going to try to find, here's the answer. I'm going to try to find 1/6 of 72, which means it's 1/6 times 72. And you just cancel this down. For example, 6 into itself, 1, and 6 into 72 goes 12 times. So the answer for this question is 12, right? All right, let's jump to the other question. Now, here is the last one, I think. It says, each die is rolled once. The product information here, the product of the score is recorded. Product. That means they multiply the results they see on top and put the result in this table. The sample space diagram is shown below. Sample space refers to the total possibilities that exist in this situation when you throw those 2 dice. All the possible combination being multiplied is already here in the table, right? Sample space, total possibility. So here's the deal. It says find the probability that the product of the score is 2 or 3. Very important here. In other words, I'm looking at the sample space. All I'm going to do is to look for 2 and 3 because it is already done. So I'm going to count them up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all I'm looking for is all of the 2s and the 3s all together. So I'm getting 12. So it is 12 out of how many? All right. So we're looking at the probability for 2 or 3. It is equal to 12 out of a total of 36, because take a look. If I should count off these spaces, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. You could see 36, or you could say 6, 6, 36. So it is 12 out of 36 in terms of how many twos or threes you're seeing. It's 12 out of 36. But 12 could go into itself one time, and 12 into 36 goes three times. So the answer for this could be written as 1/3. Okay, so that's let us see. Okay, so we're gonna stop there for now. Thank you for watching DellyMaths Concept. Like this video, share it, drop a comment. See you next time. Bye bye.